this is Shaheedah Hill, getting you over the hill to home ownership and helping you confidently buy your first home. Today, I'm here with Brett and Elijah. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and say when they closed, but they both bought resale homes in 2020, and they're gonna give other first-time home buyers advice on how they can do it in 2021. So we'll start with Brett. Just, I guess, introduce yourself and let us know when you close.
Hi, my name is Brett. Excuse that phone. I closed on my resale property on September 4th, 2020. And it was a once in a lifetime kind of experience. Let me just say that.
It definitely was. Elijah.
I am Elijah. We closed on November 3rd, so just a month out. And it was a lot more fun than I expected.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right. So how does it feel? We'll do Brett and then Elijah, and then me, I guess. How does it feel, Brett, to be in your own home?
It's an experience that it feels better than you can imagine. Coming from a world where I only rented homes and was, living that lifestyle for the first 35 years of my life, to actually owning property, that feeling of accomplishment is very, very gratifying. And I haven't felt this good in many, many years. And I'm only now looking toward the future and doing bigger and better things. But this is definitely a mountain worth climbing. And once you get to the top of that mountain, you feel a serious sense of gratification and accomplishment.
Okay, very good. Elijah, how's it feel?
Similar. I feel lucky. I feel because we started looking in September, right? And then we found the house within 2 weeks. And that house clearly wasn't a house that I was not the only offer, clearly. Right. And I feel like it happened a lot faster, a lot easier, a lot smoother.
Wow.
I feel blessed. Yeah, like it happened so fast. I'm still amazed to this day. When I tell people this story, they're like, how?
So you had the opposite experience that we had.
Yeah. It took a way longer time. I think Brett was like, what, from June to October?
October.
We were a long time. Yes, that was experience.
It was
definitely.
That's why we'll always see you as family, Shaheedah.
Yes, we're family because we basically were related. We talked every day for like 6 months almost. All right, so this is a question. So you bought resale. So resale is not going to be new. Everything's not, perfect in the house, of course. What's your biggest lessons learned purchasing resale?
I think the biggest lesson that I learned, and my wife included, because we spoke about this initially, was seeing where to buy a home from. And buying from an investment group, I found, is very, very different than buying from a seller, just a person who owns the property. Dealing with some companies might be different. So I guess you gotta, it's kind of piecemeal, but investment groups don't seem to treat you the same way a person would. You're kind of like an account or a number. Answering questions takes much longer. If you want to get something done, it's a lot of middlemen and a lot of issues that can come up before you actually have a resolution. So I would say anyone buying a home in this situation, similar to ours, try to avoid investment.
He just cut out. I think he's going to come back, but he bought, go ahead. I was going to say, you bought a property that was owned by pretty much like a group of investors, an LLC versus just a seller that owned a property. So it was a much more cumbersome process than we anticipated, definitely, when we started out.
Our issue was, we were negotiating with the person we were renting from and dealing with this investment group and trying to figure out when dates would happen and trying to plan on both sides. And when you're dealing with an investment group, it's not like dealing with a person, because you could have a family and have children and all they see is a number and an email. They'll send it to someone else. They'll send it to someone else, and you might get your answer in a week or two. And so it took many, many weeks dealing with an investment group. And if I could have done this process over again, my biggest lesson would have been to try to buy from a seller, just a person, a family selling their property. I think things would have gone much smoother, because it took us many months to finally close with this investment group.
Yeah, it's like human to human versus like human to company.
Absolutely.
Basically. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Elijah, what's your biggest lesson learned in this process?
Well, I did human to human, so that was good. So there are two things that I kept thinking about when you asked me. When I just started looking for a house, people were saying it's never going to be 100% if you resell unless you build it yourself. And I was like, oh, that's cheesy. I don't care about that. I'm going to find the one that's going to be, everything I like is going to be in there. It's going to be fine. And then the other one was, you know when you know. So as soon as you walk in, like you're going to, but those are so true, right? And I remember when we walked into this house, I was like, we said unicorn. That was the code word for whatever we can do it, right? So when we said, yeah, and it was you know when you know. And then the other lesson I learned is don't be afraid to surround yourself with the best people, right? Because the more you do that, the easier it's going to be. And that's just your agent obviously is the biggest part, but the loan people, you don't need a financial manager or financial advisor per se, but at least find someone in your circle that genuinely cares about you, that's going to help you make the best decisions. And I realized the more I did that, the easier it was and the smoother it was, the whole process. And even if you're not sure about what you're doing, someone else can validate it, right? And the more I did that, the easier the whole process was and the faster it happened.
Okay. I feel real similar to that. It's like this is the first time my family had ever considered buying a home. Mm-hmm. And I think we would have really been in a very different situation had we not found you, ma'am.
No, for real.
I'm not kidding. I don't care about this, the YouTube thing. I've never dealt with anyone in your situation from your position who seemed to care about my family's needs as much as you did. You fought like an attorney. And I'm not kidding. Right. In the middle of the night, doing everything you possibly could to make this as seamless for us as possible. We still talk about that to this day.
And I appreciate
for people who don't know, my sister-in-law, they just moved here from Ohio, and Shaheedah also helped them find a property and buy as well. So we recommend you because you're an incredible person. You're an incredible agent. And I think if we hadn't met you, we would have probably been in a much worse situation than we ended up in. I'm just very thankful for that.
All right. Thank you so much, Brad. I appreciate that. And I guess this question is not so different, but it's in the same kind of line. So we have a lot of people that are like on the fence about buying in 2021. We know it's a pandemic, or people may, they're just scared as to what's happening in our economy and, in everything. So what would be your best advice for somebody considering buying a house in 2021?
Well, I guess it'd be a couple of things. Make sure you don't look outside of your budget, but the thing that affected us the most was making sure that you do inspections that are for all seasons and for all situations. We had a great inspector that came and did our home, and unfortunately for us, we didn't get any real massive rain until about a month after we moved in, and that's when we realized that our split level home, a portion of it downstairs, had a crack in the foundation. And I sent you pictures, and
yes,
our downstairs turned into a swimming pool.
It did.
And so it wasn't that bad, but
right. It feels that bad because you're like, it's my house and what's happening.
Yeah, and with it being a new home and something you just recently acquired and you didn't expect, make sure every type of inspection you can get, even the ones that you might think are, we can let that pass. Do every inspection you can, because that feeling, that sense of security is extremely important. Right. There are things that our inspector did that he let us know about parts of my house I still have. Haven't even into cracks in the foundation. Make sure you get every type of inspection you can. That's my advice.
Very good, Brett. And then, so let's talk about that a little bit more. So once it happened and we did realize I was there, I know you said, well, you pretty much had to handle it. Because I think sometimes when, it's your house, if that realization come to you at that point, it was like, who do I call? You.
I wish I could have called the Ghostbusters, but no, it was a very horrible situation because I I had guys, contractors downstairs rebuilding, and they had just done walls and painted, and then this water comes in and it's up to the bottom of the drywall. And it was very, very frustrating. And on top of that, my contractors had to go out of state for a funeral. So I had to go outside, and I pulled up good old fashioned YouTube, and I started to learn what I needed to do to fix this problem. And thank God, through the grace of God, it took me about 4 days. I took a couple of vacation days. I was outside. Wow. And I fixed it myself. And that's another feeling of supreme accomplishment, because I'm a computer nerd. To be out there with shovels and waterproofing and, you know, putting down 4-ply plastic and building a trench. I did a French drain. I don't even know what that means, but now I do. I did my own French drain, and everything worked out. And so that's another important part of owning a home. You're going to learn a lot. I heard this from the people who I work with. They said, you know, you own a house now, you're going to learn everything. And it's only been a few months, but whew, I've learned quite a bit, quite a bit.
All right, Elijah, what's your best advice?
Just don't be afraid. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's also very true. Don't be afraid to shop around for agents. To find Shaheedah, it took me, you know, I was willing to wait on her because I knew she was worth it. You know, don't be afraid to shop around for mortgage lenders, right? As Shaheedah knows how to apply.
Let's talk about this. He did 6 applications. Let me say 6. And I didn't recommend 6. He did 6. I recommend 3 usually. But he did 6 and he said it was worth it.
I chose the 4th. Like, it was worth it. No, because put it that way, right? This is, if you're a first-time homeowner, this might be, if for most people, this is the most money you're gonna spend on any investment, right? So you want to make sure like you get the best rate, because yes, we're in a pandemic, but guess what? So more lenders are willing to decrease their interest just to get a good deal, right? Mm-hmm. So now everybody's, you know, fighting for the same thing. So you might as well take advantage of it, because we are in a seller's market, but as buyers, we should at least find something that works for us, you know, because it is competitive. So that's what I learned. And don't be afraid to shop around for warranties. Anything you can shop around for in this process, just shop around for it. That's Definitely. One thing I know for sure.
Shop around for it. All right. So gentlemen, we're supposed to have one more person on there. It's kind of like to have another female on the panel of how she got the times a little mixed up, but I really appreciate you guys coming on. I want to say congratulations. House looks great. I see all the stockings up. Brett has beautiful children. So I'm rather excited for the holidays. I want to say congratulations to you guys, and for you and your families. I know Brett's been married for a while, but Elijah's getting married soon. Damn. So it's like a big step for you guys, you know, stabilize your families, basically. Brett's having another baby coming pretty soon. So it's exciting times. 2021 is sure to be exciting for both of you. Yes.
Well, thank you for inviting us. I'm very excited.
Enough of all the work you've done. Thank you so much.
Yes. Right. Thank you, gentlemen. And I'll be in touch. And happy holidays. And thank you guys for doing the video with me.
Happy holidays, guys.
Bye.